have the shooter in custody. He's unharmed. No law enforcement fired any shots. The subject is being interviewed by a team of FBI agents and Broward Sheriff's Office homicide detectives.
New York area airports stepping up patrols and deploying officers with heavy tactical weapons at airports in the New York area in the wake of today's deadly shooting in Fort Lauderdale. The agency's heightened response includes measures taken over the holidays, such as emergency service unit strike teams equipped with these weapons. They're conducting anti-terrorism patrols right now. Counterterrorism measures, including the presence of armored vehicles and canine explosives detection teams. Also increased random bag and checks at the airport and any trains heading into airports. I'd like to bring in American Islamic Forum for Democracy, Dr. Zuhdi Jasser. Dr. Jasser, we're also getting reports from local New York media that basically he is from New Jersey, Esteban Santiago. They're going to talk, the reporters are talking to his family. They're saying he was hospitalized for mental health issues after returning from a year-long tour in Iraq about 5 years ago. What are your thoughts?
Well, first, our prayers are with the families and all those affected. This cannot become the new normal. We have to be able to not allow our society unravel and allow these incidents, regardless of the motivation, to tear us apart. And yet we're reminded that airports are the primary targets of, and all of the ones you listed before, be it Brussels, Istanbul, Karachi. Back in 2002, the El Al shooting at LAX was Islamist terrorist inspired. So we don't know what his inspiration is, but we do know that as far as all the other ones so far that are attacks on airports have been Islamist jihadists that look at airports as that connection between the Islamic world and the non-Muslim world. So we need to look at that. Now, this may have been someone that had psychiatric illness or other motivations, but at the end of the day, we're reminded to see something, say something. It's sort of this new era where vehicular terror is happening. They're looking for softer targets, and we may just need to finally move the perimeter out in airports.
How does Israel do it, Doctor?
Well, that's a great question, because it's interesting. Israel probably has been living with this for not only decades since its inception, but has been much safer. And as a result, why? Because they don't worry about political correctness. They know there's an ideology. They do interviews at airports and other things. So here's a guy that may have checked weapons in and other things. So there are things they look at unrelated to simply do they belong to a terror group, and is there a background check? Are they on a no-fly list? The things we do, I think we could learn a lot from what El Al and other security agencies do in Israel to say maybe there's a reason they're safer there. Because they do look for ideological tip-offs.
Dr. Jasser, you make a good point. Again, just to recap, there's no indication that this is terror-related, but it is striking that somehow that gunman was in the airport with a firearm. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, again, we have to, our Second Amendment is very important. So he was at the baggage claim area, or, I don't think he was beyond the magnetometers. So how do we protect those areas where cars can come in and have guns, that Americans have a right to protect ourselves? We see that other supposedly hard targets, which are soft, are military installations, etc., that people can carry on. So we have to figure out, maybe we need to have folks at airlines armed to protect themselves, and they're not. Maybe there are other things that we can do. This person may have been transporting arms that were checked in that could have been prevented. So before we say that we have to lock down our society, I'd remind you, societies that are completely locked down, like autocratic dictatorships like Saudi Arabia, etc., still have major problems with terrorism, and that doesn't solve it. So, it'll be interesting to find out how he exactly got the weapons to where he did, but we shouldn't let that change the bedrock of our freedoms as American citizens.
Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, I just want to give you a shout out. You're a brave man. You have a lot of courage, and we always welcome you on the show. We love having you. Thanks for coming on.
I enjoy being with you. Thank you for having me.
Next up.